Yes, started, sir.
Started, huh?
How many are joined, sir?
Not visible.
Still not yet joined, ma'am.
Not yet joined. Four are boys and
4. Okay.
nice also.
Because the screen is visible on YouTube now.
Which one?
This screen.
Oh,
So just you share something.
I don't. Oh, whether visible or not? Huh?
Like it's in like.
Whether it is visible or not, I got to. Why else care? Else why else?
శ్రీహరి సార్ ఎంతమంది జాయిన్ అయ్యారు?
ఇంకా అవ్వలే మ్యామ్, చూపిస్తున్నాను. members ఉన్నారు మ్యామ్.
15 మెంబర్సా?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
ట్వంటీ రాగానే చెప్పండి, స్టార్ట్ చేసేద్దాం.
ఓకే మ్యామ్, స్టార్ట్ చేయండి మ్యామ్. 20 వచ్చారు.
ఓకే. సో సురేష్, ఆర్ యు రెడీ?
Yes, ma'am. Ready.
Okay. So, good afternoon, students. Today I am introducing the Mr. Suresh Kumar sir, Nesma Telecom and Technologies Corporation Limited from Saudi Arabia. Presently he is working as a sales, marketing and business development manager. Okay, he graduated from ECE from 2003 to 2007. He is graduated in 2007 and masters in 2008 to 10 batch Tiruchi from NIT. He is working on a technology, smart city, public safety, telecommunication, IoT, robotics, drones, energy, and so on. So he worked at so many positions as a technical manager, marketing director, product and solution manager, and so many positions he handled. And presently, he is working as a sales, marketing, and business development in NASMA company. Okay, so based on the telecom and technologies limit, he mainly focused on smart cities. Okay, so he presented so many papers while he's studying in masters in communications in the NIT Tiruchi. So he presented so many conferences and international conferences and national conferences. So he visited so many countries and he worked in so many countries and traveled so many countries like China, Hong Kong, Kenya, UAE, Philippines, Kuwait, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Spain, Portugal, Thailand, and so on. Presently, he worked technologies used in smart cities. Main focus for concentration is on IoT based and smart cities. So I am proudly inviting Mr. Suresh Kumar as alumni from ECE from VNR College, and I am very happy to see you, Suresh sir. Please take over the session.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for very detailed introduction of me. Let me share my screen first. Ma'am, I think there is some background repetition of your introduction.
Yeah.
You
Srihari
need to
sir.
mute the microphones here.
No, it will be delay.
Ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
So some little bit delay.
Hello.
Delay. Okay, it's okay. Now it's okay.
Yeah, you can mute all microphones, so that will be fine. Yeah. So let me start with my presentation. So firstly, thanks, ma'am, for giving a detailed introduction of me. And however, I would like to introduce something that was not mentioned there. So when I was doing my masters, I got placed in a Chinese telecommunication company called ZTE. This is a Chinese telecommunication company. So I was placed through on-campus placement, and my main job location was in China. So that is where my whole career started in technologies and working for telecommunication technologies. And while working in ZTE, I have worked in Africa for 2 years, and then I transferred to Middle East, and it's been like around 8 years now. So during my work period in Africa and Middle East, I was also supporting several other countries where I was working as consultant for smart city, and then I was approaching municipalities, governments, and different sectors in government. So I was introducing them like how to build a smart city and what is the best scenario to choose when it comes for technologies. So today my presentation is something that will give you an overview of what is smart city, what is exactly called as smart city, and then what kind of technologies are there in place, and what are the considerations that you need to do when you are planning to build a smart city or a vertical of smart city. So this session, I will cover some small overview of departments and collaboration, products and solutions, what kind of areas that you can focus, and everything towards the smart city as an integrated smart city platform. And then the last session will be about the technologies. I mean, I will give you details about each and every technology that is used mostly around the world. So departments and collaborations, the reason I am showing these departments and collaboration is because you students, you are studying in a university where you have different departments inside your university, and then the working area of different department is not same. I mean, not exactly the same, but everyone covers different vertical areas. So in this case, when it comes for something like intercollaboration, or if you are building something like end-to-end solution, you might need help of other departments. So in this case, what kind of things that you need to consider when it comes for end-to-end collaboration and building something related to smart city? For example, EC people, they might be good at working on sensor, network, platform, technologies, IoTs, these kind of stuff. But when it comes for computer science people, they are very much good at building softwares, platforms, applications, these kind of stuff. But for IT, they are into like database, storage, network elements for related to IT. Then triply maybe related to energy, energy consumption of your whole end-to-end solution. And mechanical people are much good at robotics, mechanical works, and all these things. But sometimes, you cannot be the one who can do end-to-end deliverables. So in this case, you need to have collaboration among different departments. So it's up to you what kind of solutions that you choose, what exactly are the requirements, and if you need support from other divisions, then you need to do the collaborative work. So this is where I'm just giving an example. So it's not only an individual, he should work on something end to end, he can also collaborate with other divisions if needed. And product and solution. So there are various opportunities when it comes for working on similar types of products or different types of solutions. Solutions are basically tailored for end-to-end requirements. So here below you can see there are technologies. So if you are working on technology, there are various technologies like IoT, 5G, artificial intelligence, machine learning, LoRa, which stands for long range communication, then Wi-Fi, and these are basically used to target smart cities, communities, enterprise, industries, universities, education ministries, health, public safety, and all. Then we have products. So these are like standalone products that are serving different entities. They can be serving to government, or they can be serving to some universities, or they can be serving to individual people as a personal product. And then there are software, platform, applications, apps. Then we have online. So if people are working on to build some online platforms like e-commerce, shopping, travel websites, consultancy services, and then others are financial, logistics, management, collaboration. So there are various areas that you can focus on, not only limiting yourself for because I'm from ECE, so it doesn't mean I should only focus on electronic and communication areas, but I can also focus on other areas based on my interest and needs. Then future areas, for example, lot of people, everyone in around the world, they are talking about IoTs. So what are the methodologies they should use when it comes to building IoTs? Then they're also talking on top of IoT is AI, like artificial intelligence, analytical work, these kind of things. Then machine learning, then robotics and drones are also taking the much future topics when it comes for development of smart cities, robotics, drones, how they can build something like robotic products and drones products that will help serve the government or an individual when it comes for smart cities. And then there is fleet management, there is green energy, because everyone is talking about the future of energy generation that can be through solar or wind, or can be any other mode of generation. Then software designs, we are seeing during the COVID, we have seen so many mobile applications that are coming into place where we are using them for our daily works or needs, or also we are doing a lot of online shoppings recently because we are well connected to the internet, and then we are using all these softwares and applications to satisfy our needs. So this is where there are so many areas that one can focus on, and in each area there are several segregated verticals. So it's not like one area covers end to end, it also have several segregated verticals. So depending on the needs and the requirements, you can work on different individual verticals. So here I'm showing the overview of smart city, because generally smart city is not something that you are only implementing one vertical solution or one vertical application and it is called as smart city. So it is never the case. Actually, we have seen several cities, they are digitalized and they are saying our city is a smart city, which is not true. Because when we consider smart city, it is not one application or one service. It is the combination of multiple applications and multiple service, where every government department and every individual citizen is benefited out of it. So for example, there is public safety. Public safety is always the most prioritized solution that every city needs to consider. So is your city really safe? So is there any public safety solution implemented on ground where if something goes wrong and the security departments, they take action immediately? Is it so or not? This is the first thing. And the second one, transportation. So every city, the major consideration for the government or its people is to consider transportation network. So is the transportation network around the city is smart enough that wherever you are traveling around, you can be comfortable to choose any mode of transportation, and you are using your mobile applications to do the reservations of the bus. It might not be city to city transportation when it comes to reservation, but also the in city transportation, the flexibility of using apps, and also there should be an interconnection integration between the bus and the train or the metros or ferry or these kind of things. So this is not only for transportation, but also when it comes for an individual user, if he's traveling from one place to another place, he can see in real time whether this route will take me the maximum time or the minimum time. So what about the traffic signals in the center of the city? So is there any traffic congestion, or can I receive any alerts related to that, so I can use alternative way to reach my destination? So when it comes for transportation, the city should be smart enough. So the public safety transportation. Then comes the health. So all my health divisions or departments inside the city are intercollaborated or not. Because if I'm visiting some hospital and if I'm performing some tests and all these things, and later on if I visit another hospital, do I need to perform all these again or not? And then do I have some IoT health products from the hospitals where I can just sit at home and perform my tests, and the doctor, I mean, if he sees any emergency, then he will call me back to do the consultation services or not? So health is another thing. Then education, because we have to see the education not only for the developed cities, but also for the undeveloped urban areas and rural areas. So there should be a collaborative work of education when it comes for platform. And universities to universities, they should integrate together, because if one university, their way of education is higher, and another university, the way of education is not that higher, but they can share resources. They can share materials, they can share their sessions. So it is something for the future of education of the nation. So it's not only like these four, but there are several other areas like smart environment, smart building, smart homes, smart street lights, waste management is another thing that the municipalities, they also need to consider. And then EV charging, smart parking, smart energy. So these all are different verticals under smart city. But the moment when some division or government, they build these kind of different verticals and they integrate it together to form it as one platform, then only it is called smart city. So it's never the case like people are deploying Wi-Fi around the city and people are providing some applications for its citizens and they call it smart city. No, it is not smart city. It is something like an individual standalone solution that they build and they are calling it as smart city. But to build a complete smart city, you should consider various verticals. And also for these various verticals, there are different segregated solution scopes. It's not like the public safety is only something that you will install cameras and you will provide push to talk solution to the police. No, it's not like that. And even in the public safety, you have several layers of solutions that you can tailor and build for a smart city. So in the same case, for all the applications, it is not just like a fixed concept. It has multiple various scenarios depending on different city, different country. So this is whenever you are planning for building some vertical application under smart city, you should consider several factors. Then integrated technologies. So basically, whenever we are talking about smart cities, the first thing you should always consider is what kind of technologies are you using. So because whenever you are deploying smart city and you are deploying some sensors on ground, how these data collected from these sensors are transported to the central platform. So this is where there are various technologies around the world people are using, and in some developed countries they are also using 5G, where it will accommodate several verticals with millions of sensors, and then it will also support data bandwidth that will be carried from these sensors to the central platform. Then there is LTE, 4G. Then some people, they are also using LoRa network, long range communication network, for narrow bandwidth solutions. So here it is shown as an integrated technologies, where it is not only to build a smart city based on one standalone technology, but you can also have integration between different technologies. So you can combine various technologies together and you can form one smart city application or platform for the cities. And here you will see many different verticals, just as an example. In the next slide, I will show you the difference between narrowband and broadband technologies. So here on the left side, you can see broadband solutions. On the right side, you can see narrowband solutions. So basically what is happening is, whenever you are planning to build a smart city, you should see and consider, what kind of applications should I build? Is it something related to public safety? Okay, if it is related to public safety, then we have to install cameras. So all the cameras, they require broadband network. And to consider broadband network, what are the options do I have? So here you can see we have 5G, we have 4G, we have 3G. But 3G, the bandwidth limitation is very minimal. So we go for 5G and 4G. Then we have Wi-Fi. Then we have microwave solution based on point-to-point, microwave solution based on point-to-multipoint, and multi-point to multipoint. So these are various concepts in microwave. And then we have fiber optic network, FTTX. Then we have IoT. And here on the right side, we see narrowband solutions, because broadband means that network is carrying broadband data. But narrowband means it doesn't carry broadband, but it will only carry like sensor data. So sensor data is minimal data. And to build a sensor network, you just need to consider LoRa, long range network, and then NB-IoT. Basically, NB-IoT is narrowband IoT that is implemented by the telecom operators. So LoRa is something that you will be building it as a private network, but when it comes to NB-IoT, you don't need to build any network, but the operator, they need to have telecom operator like Airtel, BSNL, Idea, or Geo. They need to have NB-IoT application in their network. So you can bring NB-IoT sensors and you can, deploy these smart applications on ground without even considering to build a network. You can build in real time. But the only thing that you always need to consider, that the sensor that you will use, it should be equipped with a SIM card that belongs to the telecom operator. So when you are putting a SIM card, means you are paying the services for the SIM card every month to the telecom operator. So something like that. But when it comes for long range, once you deploy the network, you can use it whenever you want, and till many years, whatever you want. Then Bluetooth. So Bluetooth, Zigbee, PLC, these are some other technologies that are used for short range solutions. But LoRa and NB-IoT, they are used for long scattered solutions. So here, broadband solutions, we are not only talking about public safety, but also smart education, smart health, public transportation and fleet management, connected vehicles, smart public spaces, video monitoring, e-government, public services. But when it comes for narrowband solutions, you can build smart street lighting, energy metering, like smart metering of electricity meter at home. So you don't need to have someone coming to your home and taking the reading of these meters, but you can send the data from this meter directly to the centralized platform, and the billing will be generated. And then water metering, even the municipalities, they can install water metering, and then they can bill every home for monthly or quarterly or yearly. it's up to them. Then agriculture, because agriculture areas are always scattered, so we always prefer to choose long range or NB-IoT, because we cannot build broadband solution covering thousands of acres, where you need to deploy several number of telecom sites for 5G or 4G or Wi-Fi or microwave that will take the data from one point and will transport to the another point. It is not like scattered network. It is something like connecting the sensors to one hub, and this hub is acting as a backhaul to the central command and control center. But when it comes for LoRa, these are scattered network. I mean, a LoRa can cover up to like 10 to 20 kilometers coverage area, depending on if you are deploying it is in rural or urban areas. And also in urban areas, sometimes the coverage may be going down less than 5 kilometers, depending on the number of, the type of landscape that we are using. It's like a plain landscape or having a combination of plain lands and mountains, something like that. So there are different scenarios. So whenever you are trying to build a smart city, the first thing you need to consider is the network, and what kind of network you are consider, and what are the applications that you will build on top of this network. And depending on different city to city or area to area, the technology will also change. And also, not only the technology, the number of deployments of these network elements will also increase or decrease. It depends on the landscape. So the technologies, we will start talking about something from the cellular technologies, and then whatever I showed above, like broadband and narrowband, I will show you a detailed explanation about one by one. So cellular technologies, and the evolution of cellular technology started from 1G, and now we are seeing something called as 5G. So what happened between this 1G and 5G was, when people started using something, they wanted to have something more, because the vendors below are Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei, and ZTE. These are the major players when it comes for cellular technologies. So these are the companies who deployed telecommunication networks around the world. So I used to work for ZTE, so it is a Chinese company, and Huawei is also Chinese company, and Ericsson and Nokia, they are from Europe. So these are the 4 companies who contributed when it comes for telecommunication technologies from 1G to 5G. And then when these vendors, they deployed 1G or 2G, they always had the vision, like what is next after 2G. So with 1G and 2G, people were able to make calls, and with 2G they were able to make SMSs. But what's next? I mean, is there anything that we can innovate in terms of technology where people can use it for additional purposes? Then we saw the evolution of 3G. So when 3G came, many basic phones turned out to smartphones. So these smartphones, we used to use some applications, small basic applications, and then transferring multimedia messages and listening to music, playing video musics, and also had camera phones, these kind of stuffs. So from 3G, when the evolution moved to 4G, the data rate, the requirements also increased, because there were more number of people. They were moving from 2G to 3G, and millions of people, they were using 3G. So to accommodate all these users, there should be a technology, not only in terms of bandwidth, but also in terms of supporting the offered services. For example, in 3G, you were able to use 10 to 20 applications, but in 4G, if the people have a need of using 50 to 100 applications, it should accommodate, and it should also support. I mean, the network should also support the requirements of the people. So this is where the development of 4G started. And then after we saw 4G, then the recent evolution towards technology is 5G. And when it comes for 5G in India, we are just initiating the talks to deploy 5G network around different cities. But when it comes for developed countries like Korea, Japan, China, United States, in some of the countries in Europe, and also in Middle East, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, or Kuwait, Oman, these countries, they already deployed 5G since few years. I mean, like 2-3 years, they have started deploying 5G. And now we have a full 5G network in Saudi Arabia, where we can also buy new 5G mobile and we can use all these services with very high speed, something like that. And not only about an individual point of view, but when it comes for utilization of these kind of technologies beyond the users, that is where the smart city comes in picture. So with 4G, people were always hesitating to use this for the smart cities applications, but 5G is something that was innovated not only for the individual users, but also to accommodate the IoT initiatives around the world. Because when it comes for IoT, there will be too many external devices that will be connecting to the network, and then all the data will be transported to the related platforms. So when it comes for individual user, it will go to the hub of these telecom operators, but when it comes for the IoT, it will go to the respective platform providers. So this is where you can see the evolution of telecom cellular technologies from 1G to 5G. And when we talk about 5G benefits, it is, compared to 4G, it has 1,000 times mobile data volume. It also connects to more than 10 to 100 times of the devices where 4G used to accommodate. The latency is also lower, 5 times lower. And also the end user data rate, like for each and every individual user, the data rate compared to 4G is 10 to 100 times higher. These 10 to 100 times, how they say, is depending on number of users, accommodating one telecom site. So it depends on number of users because it's always a shared bandwidth. So this is where they say 10 to 100 times. And the battery life for low power devices is 10 times higher, because when we deploy some sensors on ground, so all these sensors, they will be equipped with a power connectivity, or they are running on a battery. If they are running on a battery, so what is the lifetime of these sensors to run? So I don't need to reconsider to charge them again or replace the batteries. So this is where 5G network is giving low power devices 10 times higher battery life. Then here you will see 5G for IoT. So here battery life for sensors is more than 10 years. So once you deploy a sensor under this 5G network, then you don't need to consider to change the battery for 10 plus years. Then there is network slicing. Network slicing is something that you can use one single network for multiple applications or scenarios. So this is where the network slicing will help. Then there is ultra HD cloud computing, lower latency. Even while driving with more than 500 kilometers per hour, you can always be connected, because there will be like very smooth handover and there will be no interruption of the data or the communication between you and the end user. And millions of devices can be connected under one network, one telecom network. So you not only for the individual users, but also you can accommodate several IoT sensors and applications, where all the sensors, they will be transporting the data to their respective platforms. And also when it comes for frequency, now currently there are so many companies, they are researching in low range frequencies and high range frequencies. The reason is, when we talk about telecom technologies and also in communication concept scenario, we always say the lower the frequency, the wider the coverage. The higher the frequency, the lower the coverage. So in this scenario, if we are going to cover vast areas, then we should also always consider the lower frequency band. But there is a drawback when we go lower frequencies, and there is advantage when we go higher frequencies, that is bandwidth. For example, if we are taking lower frequencies, then the bandwidth allocation will be very minimal. So if the bandwidth allocation is minimal, the data rate will be minimal, but the coverage will be wider. But when we are talking about higher frequencies, the bandwidth allocation will be higher, the data rate will be higher, but the coverage will be smaller. So these are some concepts. Whenever you are planning to deploy or provide your consultation services to some government entities, you should always consider these factors, because for 5G, these are the benefits, but these benefits will not be the same when you deploy in lower frequencies and higher frequencies. So somewhere or the other places, you need to sacrifice either bandwidth or either data rate, or somewhere you should sacrifice the coverage requirements. So something like that. So you should always think in a point where you choose certain frequency, and you will have certain bandwidth allocation, and you are providing the required services or applications on top of this network, something like that. Then after 5G, we have microwave technology. So in my overview of integrated technology, I showed you point to point, point to multi-point, multi-point to multi-point, right? So this is where you can see point to point. So point to point means like at one place, you have some requirements scattered around, and you are connecting all these areas with one network, and that one network, it can collect the data and transport it to another area using microwave. So here you can see the coverage. I mean, you don't need to build a fiber network for around 100 kilometers. So you can directly transport the data from one place to another place using microwave solution. And even when you see the telecom operators and their telecom sites, you always see something like a drum shaped equipment on top of the tower, right? So this is what is called microwave. And also in smaller rooftop sites, you will see the drum size is smaller, and in big telecom tower sites, more than 60 meter high towers, you will see the drum size is bigger. So these smaller size will connect site to site with minimal range. But for the bigger one, it will go farther range. And also depending on the frequencies, because as I mentioned to you, the lower the frequency, the wider coverage, something like that, right? And even in microwave, there are several set of frequencies that are used depending on requirements and needs. So here point to point is connecting one site to another site. But when it comes for point to multi-point, one site can connect to multiple number of sites. So these multiple number of sites will be in certain range area, and each site will be having its own requirements of when it comes for deploying the services. It can be an individual service of providing internet, or it can be something related to smart city, or it can be something related to smart building or industrial solution, something like that. So from the minimal requirement of a park where there will be one pole and it will be providing Wi-Fi services to the people who are inside the park, or a business area, business building area. So point to multi-point solution will cover different kinds of requirements. It always is the consideration depending on city to city and requirement to requirement. And multi-point to multi-point means you can have multiple sensors deployed on the ground, and these sensors will be connecting to these multi-point to multi-point devices, and they will be interconnected among themselves, something like a mesh network. So they will act as a mesh network, transporting the data collected from different locations to the central location. So even not only considering one concept, but you can also bring 3 different concepts to build one network. Like multi-point to multi-point, they will come to one hub. Then multi-point to multi-point will collect all the data. Then it will go to point. So something like that. So these are the concepts in microwave technology. Then there is fixed wireless. So when it comes for providing internet services, it's not only about deploying a fiber cable. You can also deploy internet services based on fixed wireless. So something related to fixed wireless is that it can go to farther areas like 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and you don't need to deploy a fiber cable for these 3 kilometers to 5 kilometers. Sometimes in rural areas, you're not having the flexibility to deploy the fiber. So this is where you can go and deploy fixed wireless from one point where it has fiber connected, and you can transport the data or to provide internet services to different locations. And also in some scenarios, we proposed some solutions to some countries where they have n number of islands, and these islands are not that far, and the government there, they wanted to deploy some internet services to these islands. So they were facing investment issues when it comes for deploying the fiber cable connecting island to island. So we proposed some solutions for fixed wireless access, and these fixed wireless access can also have multiple scenarios, not only like providing the Wi-Fi long haul Wi-Fi solutions, but also microwave solutions. We also proposed microwave solutions connecting the mainland to the island, and from connecting from island to island to island. And also while deploying telecommunication network for these islands, we always backhaul the data, and the required services are pushed through microwave. So there will be a telecom tower. Telecom tower will have a microwave unit, and then this microwave unit will be transporting the data. But if we are able to, if we want to provide wireless network, then these public Wi-Fi, or it will be providing internet services to different homes. So it's like chain connected or mesh network. We have different scenarios to deploy this kind of fixed wireless solution. Then IoT verticals. So IoT, everyone is talking about Internet of Things. So we are using smartphones now, and even in our homes, we have smart devices. These can be like CCTV cameras or access controls or wearable technologies, and also vehicles. Vehicles are equipped with cameras, speedometers, and also smart homes and buildings, they are equipped with different kinds of sensors. So everyone is talking about smart cities and IoTs, Internet of Things. But when it comes for Internet of Things, there are various kind of concepts. It's not only like standalone technology, but also the combination of different technologies. So here you can see an example, a basic example of a smart home, where you can have a smart home which is built on top of various technologies, that is Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, 4G, 5G, etc. So the concept here is, for example, you have some Bluetooth sensors, right, at your home, and then these Bluetooth sensors, they are connected to each other, maybe within 10 meters range. And in your home, the 10 meters is something quite big. So you are connecting all the sensors through Bluetooth within 10 meters range. And then you will have a gateway. That gateway is collecting the data of these Bluetooths and pushing it to the gateway. And this gateway will be equipped either with Wi-Fi or either with a 4G SIM card. Because once this gateway is collecting the data from these Bluetooth sensors, then it has to send to the centralized platform, right? So this is where this is a combination of Bluetooth and 4G. But consider another scenario. There are some sensors which are supporting Bluetooth, but there are some sensors, something like CCTV camera. CCTV camera is also called a sensor, but it is supporting Wi-Fi, because Bluetooth cannot transport wideband data. So this CCTV camera supported with Wi-Fi is transporting the real-time recording, which takes wide data. So these Bluetooth and Wi-Fi is going to the gateway, centralized gateway in the home, and this gateway then equipped with 4G or 5G, transporting the data to the central platform. So here you can see the combination of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 4G. And also there are several gateways that support Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, PLC, several technologies. So when we talk about smart home, we are always seeing different kinds of applications, not only CCTV camera, access control, smart lighting, smart energy management, elderly care, health and wellness, these kind of things. When it comes for elderly care, there is an example, like the hospitals, they have smart hospital platform, and then these hospitals, they are providing some smart devices to these elderly people at home. So these elderly people, they don't need to go to the hospital to perform all these tests regularly. What they can do is, they can just stay at home. They can use these devices to perform their blood test, blood pressure, oxygen levels, or heartbeat rate, these kind of things. And if there is any case, like there is a critical condition, or the data is not proper, then these devices, they will send the data to the hospitals, and the doctor will receive an alarm on his mobile. Then immediately he will access that alarm to see what exactly happened, what are the reports. Then this doctor, he will call those elderly people, or the person who is taking care of these elderly people, to provide guidance to them, whether they should do something at home, so the data will be proper, I mean, not having alarms, and or they should visit hospital and consult doctor face to face. So these kind of advices and guidance will be provided. So when it comes for smart home, there are too many concepts, and to build these too many concepts, you have to start something from where, what kind of technology you will be using and what kind of platform you will be deploying. Because even for different analytics, you need to have AI, ML, these kind of concepts, but your platform should be capable enough. But if your platform is capable enough, and also simultaneously your device should be capable enough to get these data. For example, cameras. You deployed cameras, right? So camera, the main job of cameras is to do monitoring. Whenever you are outside your home, you can access these cameras, you can see what exactly is happening. But if something is identified, and for example, there is a facial recognition system built in with this camera, so whenever it identifies some people who are not related to that home, it will trigger alarm and you will receive alarm on mobile. So you don't need to access that camera, but the camera will push the data to your mobile. So these are something like smart analytical systems. And also for access control, if you are not authorized to enter the home and if you entered password wrong, I mean, maybe I just want to break in the home, so I just entered password wrong for 3 to 4 times, then it will immediately send alarm to the owner's mobile, something like that. But if I'm just having an access control platform where I can set passwords, if someone from my relatives or my friends, they are visiting my home, I can push these one-time password to their mobile phone, and they will use this password to unlock the doors. So there are different scenarios. So this is an example of showing like how you can combine different technologies and how you can provide different kinds of vertical solutions under smart homes, and then what are the deep advancements that you can do in each vertical solution. So this is where for BTech first year students, I would suggest to start working on something related to smart home, because you don't need to consider big deployment of telecommunication network. Here you can work on these technologies because these are available technologies. Even if you go into the market, you will find some sensors that are supporting Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can easily find them everywhere. And the only thing is you have to build a software application or analytical work platform, and then you have to do the integration work. That is the only thing you will do. So when you start working on the basic applications, you can think about expanding it to further to the smart city applications. So this is where I would recommend to start working on smart city. No, not smart city, smart home. And then you have to see what kind of other smart home applications that you can bring in with your concept, which are not showed here. So you can work on various elements. Then long range, I mentioned about long range in narrowband solutions. So long range is something that is LoRa, and this LoRa is always built as a private network. This is not public network. Usually what we call as private network is something that is built for you and only for you, and you are using all the verticals and solutions for yourself. But when it comes for public network, the network is built for everyone, like BSNL, Airtel, Jio, Idea. They are building these networks for everyone, so everyone can use these networks, right? Something like that. But when you have a vertical application working on a public network, you have to depend on that network. But when you are building a vertical application based on private network, it is your network. So this is the difference. And here with LoRa, you can build so many applications because LoRa provides wider coverage. So wider coverage with narrowband application. So you can deploy sensors that can go up to like 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, depending on the landscape, the weather conditions, and the place itself, and also the frequency allocation. And in India, the government, they already standardized LoRa frequency at 800 band, 868 band. So if you want to deploy a LoRa network for VNR college, you can just have a gateway, LoRa gateway, installed on top of the building, and then you can deploy several applications. Several applications means like smart parking. There is a parking space in VNR college, right? So you can build a smart parking concept, and there is access management for the main gates, right? So you can build smart access management. And then there are also students who are coming to the college, they can also have attendance management system. And then in the canteen, you can have payment gateways, connected through LoRa. And also in laboratories, you can have equipments that will be monitored. If people are using those equipments, if they are moving those equipments from one place to another place, you can monitor them. And also there are several other applications that you can work on, but the only thing is, first you need to have a gateway. So that gateway can be built on top of the university, and you can build so many applications. And also smart lighting system, because in college you can see there are too many street lights, too many indoor lights, right? So you can make all these lights as a smart. The only thing, you need to have a NEMA socket for the smart lighting, and then this NEMA socket will be communicating to the gateways, and you can do automatic control, you can do the dimming of the lights. And even sometimes if the college is closing at 3 p.m., the street lights will not be turned on automatically, because if nobody is there, then you don't need to turn on the lights to consume energy. You can also go for movement management for the street light. For example, if some people are walking around, the street lights around them will be turned on, but the other street lights will not be turned on, something like that. Sorry. So there are different concepts when it comes for LoRa. You can start with your own university, and then you can go for large covering areas. Because LoRa gateway, if you are using it in university, maybe it will cover around 3 to 5 kilometers. But if you are going for larger areas, it will cover 10 to 20 kilometers in open farmlands, something like that. You can choose different kinds of gateways and different kinds of sensors. Then critical communication. So when we talked about telecom technologies and communication technologies, critical communication is something that we always see in security industries. For example, our police people, they are using walkie-talkies, right? So even these walkie-talkies is built on a communication technology. And this is not something that comes with a public network or a private network that I showed in broadband and narrowband. This is really different. So critical communication, we have different services like push-to-talk service or real-time calling services. But these services are also working like telecommunication network from 1G to 5G. So here we can see 2G is something tetra. 2G is something like tetra. So it can have voice push-to-talk services. So like police people, they are talking to each other using push-to-talk. Then DMR is considered something between 2G and 3G. This can support minimal push of the image data or some small video data. But the LTE is something that will support as a 4G network. 4G network means it can accommodate not only voice calls, but it can also accommodate video calls. And if you are integrating, if you are building a CCTV network around the city, this LTE can also work as a backhaul of transporting the CCTV data to the centralized platform. So having such kind of advanced network will help the security industries integrate the communication infrastructure and the CCTV infrastructure together. So what exactly happens is, whenever there is any incident happening around the city, so the command and control center, they will see the incident in real time. But how they will push these data to the nearby police people or the security personnel. So before these security personnel reach the site, they know what exactly happened and what are the actions they need to take. So this kind of integration work will always support the security industries to tackle things in a minimal time. And this kind of solutions are not only built for security, but also can be built for the health sector. For example, if there is any accident happened in the city or outskirts of the city, so immediately these command and control center, they can take the real-time data and push to different departments like police department. Okay, there is some accident happened, you should go there, and then they will push the data to the hospitals. So these ambulance people, whoever is going to the site, they know, oh, this is the type of accident happened and I should be prepared with these elements before I reach to the accident site. And also the insurance will be informed, notified, and the insurance will see, okay, this is the cause of the accident. So when I go there, I should do the penalty for whoever has done mistake or and reduce penalty for whoever has not done mistake, something like that. So these kind of technologies are built in many countries, in developed countries, and these technologies are used as a private network. These are not coming with a public network, with a private network. So this is where is a critical communication solution, and this can be provided as public safety for civil aviation, rail transit, oil and gas, and enterprise industries, factories, and even the universities. They can have this kind of critical communication solution for their security personnel and integrate it with the CCTV network infrastructure for the universities, something like that. So there are different concepts of deploying critical communication infrastructure solution. Okay, so the whole presentation for smart city overview and technologies is done, but the last two slides I would just like to mention something about COVID situation. So in the beginning of this year, we have seen there was a huge wave of COVID around the world, and there were too many things that changed our life in terms of the way we work, the way we study, the way we live. Everything got changed. So the reason I'm showing this one is, sometimes we as a students should not only see what will come in the future, but at that moment what happens, how you will tackle, how you will prepare yourself to provide solution for others. So this is what the mentality of a researcher or a student should be. Not only thinking about, okay, after 5 years there will be 6G, let me focus my research on 6G only. Not like that. So this is where the COVID situation, when it comes to you and changes everything, in future there might be something else, some other wave of disease that will change our whole life. So this is another opportunity for people. So not only considering in terms of technology or electronics or research area, but something that you can work on and benefit yourself as entrepreneurs for the market. So COVID opportunities, there are like so many opportunities when it comes for face masks, face shields. I never imagined myself I will be wearing face mask in my whole life, because whenever I visited any hospital, I never had one face mask on myself. But now this 2020 forced me to wear face mask every day. Every day means every day. Like even if I'm going to buy groceries outside my home, I should wear a face mask. If I'm going to my office, I should wear a face mask. Even if I'm visiting my relatives, I should wear a face mask. And face shield, if we are traveling for far distances in planes and buses, we are using face shields. And portable ventilators for people who got infected with COVID and they need ventilators. And hand sanitizer. Even I'm in home, I'm using hand sanitizer. Even I'm outside, I'm using hand sanitizer. So this is how the life changed. And temperature scanners. Recently, you can see whenever you are visiting some shopping malls or supermarkets, there will be one security personnel who will be, holding a temperature scanner, and he will be scanning your hand. I think in India they are scanning the forehead, which is not good actually. So in many developed countries, they stopped scanning the head because it will damage your cells in brain, something like that. So here in Saudi and everywhere in developed countries, they are scanning the forehand. And then there are disinfection chambers. So before the wave got hit, there were so many disinfection chambers installed in offices and in supermarkets, but now they are no more functional. And then thermal scanners. There are so many CCTV cameras that are also equipped with thermal imaging that will monitor your temperature. So for EC students, you can also work on these kind of things like analytical work when it comes for CCTV monitoring, where if something happens like a disease is spreading around, so you can have these cameras that are equipped with another sensor that will monitor the temperature of the people. And if someone's temperature is higher, it can immediately alert the security personnel or the health authorities around, something like that. And also, if during COVID, it is a requirement that people shouldn't gather at one place more than 40 people or 50 people or 100 people. And cameras can also do analytical works in a way where if people are gathered in front of this camera, which are more than the required head counts, it will immediately trigger alarm and send to the central location, something like that. So there are too many opportunities around, I mean, sometimes situations will create opportunities. Sometimes the future requirements and need create opportunities. So this is where you as a first year students, you should think about so many things, because you are still going to be there for several number of years. And the main advantage of studying in a university is, when it comes for researching, you will have the flexibility, you will have the resources, you will have people to guide you. But once the moment you are out of this university, you have to be depending on yourself, because you will not have resources. You have to invest in these resources. You will not have people to guide you, because you are already out of this university, right? So you will not have that flexibility. So I would only suggest you to utilize this maximum possible opportunity to work on some innovative works or innovative requirements, where it will not only limit yourself to keep it for the university, but you will also grow yourself for your future. When you come out of this university, you don't need to work in some companies, but you can also own your own company with these kind of advanced research solutions that you have built when you are studying in the university. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This is the end of my presentation. And if you have any questions related to whatever I presented, you can ask me. But if you have any questions related to smart cities or details of smart cities, I have another session that I was always doing with other people, and we will see after this meeting how to arrange for another meeting to discuss about each and every vertical under smart city. Because the first thing you should always learn about is the technologies and the requirement of technology, and the second thing is that will come as an application. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you very much. 1 minute, Suresh. Srihari, sir.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you for a wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
We will invite leisurely. You can interact with the students in this YouTube platform. It is not possible to interact with the students.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, we'll come back to you, and all of you, all alumni now. So maybe Ratin, Soharika, and Renuka also joined to address students. Maybe they are
Yes,
juniors
ma'am.
to you, I think.
Yeah.
So I welcome all of you, Ratin, Soharika, Renuka. Hi to all.
Hello,
So
ma'am.
thank you, Suresh. We'll come back to you once again.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
You see, all of you now, all of you say hi to each other.
Hello, hi
Yeah,
guys. Hi.
I passed out in 2007. I might be your junior or senior. I'm not sure.
We joined in 2007.
Okay. The moment I left, you came.
But nice to hear from you, and thanks.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure to meet, young minds who are coming forward to share their experience to the students who are, just starting their career. Because back then there was no one who could guide us. That was the only, thing which we faced. And there is always a thing. You might work on yours. I mean, from your side, it will take some time. But if you have some guidance, it will take shorter time.
True that.
Okay, Sahitya, can you introduce? We'll take one photograph with all of you.
Thank you, Suresh. I will introduce Mr.
Please take one photo with all our alumni. Srihari.
Yes, ma'am. So can you, yeah, I will take it. Ma'am,
Sahita, can you introduce?
Yes, madam. So I'm introducing Mr. Ratin. Ratin graduated from VNR in 2011. He worked as a TCS company post graduation, then did his master's in human resources, after which he was selected to the HR leadership program at IBM. After living and working in 3 countries over the last 8 years, he is now back to India and is working with IBM as a HR engagement and transition manager. He loves cooking, playing, and sports. Welcome, Ratin.
Ma'am, thank you for the introduction.
Srihari, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
చెప్పండి.
Ratin, you can start.
Sir, you can.
So, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. I do have. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I also do have with me, 2 of my good friends and classmates as well, Suharika as well as Renuka. So I'm going to, quickly introduce the both of them. So just getting that out here. Just give me 1 second. All right. So Suharika as well, as I've mentioned, graduated from VNR in 2011. Later, she did her MBA from SIMB Pune. After working for 4 companies, she's currently working as a general manager at Swiggy, heading business operations and customer experience for 400 cities. She loves dancing, traveling, and sports. So welcome, Suharika.
Thanks, Ratin. Hi, guys. I think this is a great, I take great pleasure in doing this. Yeah.
Awesome. So again, once more introducing Renuka. Renuka did her undergrad as well with us, graduated in 2011 from VNR, worked for TCS, and then she joined as an intern with different professors at Osmania University, University of Mumbai in astronomy, and now finally completed her PhD in astrophysics from the University of Utah in the USA. She is currently a postdoctoral researcher in the UK, working on stellar clusters and black holes. Apart from this, she is an avid rock climber, skier, trekker, and traveler. So welcome, Renuka.
Oh, thanks, Ratin. Hi, everyone. It's been a really long time since I actually met everyone here. Yeah, we'll talk.
Awesome. So I think we have the 3 of us today, addressing the class of 2020 ECE, the first year students. So I think on behalf of all of us, a very warm welcome to the entire class of 2020 to VNR. This year, I mean, what a year it has been, right? Like so many challenges, so many unknown elements that came into our lives, but all of you have overcome these hurdles. You've made it to your first day in college. So a big round of applause to all of you for that. Kudos on making it to your first day in college. So again, I would like to call out here the entire staff of ECE who in VNR, they have created this opportunity. I think this is a great opportunity, like Suresh was mentioning in the beginning, we did not have so many of these opportunities in time, and technology has brought us all together. We are able to interact. We are able to, share some of the things that, we've we've experienced, we would like to pass it on to all of you while you're here on your first day in college. So I think this is a fantastic initiative by the ECE department of VNR. So applause to the entire ECE department here. So I think we can get started with our session. The objective here today is we are just three of your alumni. We are here just talking. We'll talk a little bit about our experiences. We'll share with you a few tips, some advice, some things that we could have done better while we were at college. Make sure that you don't make similar mistakes, and also make sure that you take up as much opportunity as possible that the 4 years of engineering is going to give you. So with that said, I think what we're going to do here is we'll have a little bit of a panelist kind of a discussion where the three of us will look at certain questions. Some of these questions came to us while we were discussing what can we share with you, what can we talk about, and so we would like to share some of our experiences based these questions. And again, I know you will be watching this on YouTube, so go ahead, post your questions. Students, if you have questions for us, you can post it on the YouTube chat. One of the moderators will help us out towards the end of the session. So we'll keep about 10 minutes for that if possible. But otherwise, we'll kind of go around with a panel framework for this. So with no further delay, I think one of the things that we really want to talk about or share our experiences is, we have been through the entire grind of the 4 years of engineering, right? So in hindsight, Suharika, if there are one or two things, that you would feel if somebody told you in your first year of engineering, it would have helped you, what would those things be?
Yeah, I think one thing that I feel very strongly is engineering is one time when you have a lot of opportunities and you also can make time. I feel like I have not utilized my time really well. It could be academics or it could be non-academics as well. Like retrospectively, I feel one thing that I always wanted to do in life was to learn a martial art. And I think I have been putting it off for years now. But if given a chance, I'd probably utilize some time during my engineering where I have the time. I will certainly find company because it's such a huge college and be able to pursue it. So that's one thing. Another thing probably would be like do a lot more projects from an educational perspective. Yeah, those things there.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Suharika. I think absolutely. I think time is something that we have in abundance when we are going through the 4 years of our journey, right? So making optimal use of the time, I think, is of utmost importance. Thank you for that tidbit. Renu, how about you? Sorry, go ahead, Suharika. You had something.
There's one more thing I think is super important. At least in my first year of engineering, I was doing engineering because the whole world was doing engineering. At least Andhra Pradesh, that's like, you're good at maths, obviously engineering. What else? And then what is the best field to choose? ECE, Evergreen. It was as simple a decision of mine. I'm not saying I am not happy about that, but at that point of time, I didn't have that clarity. And I want to say that's okay. Absolutely okay. In current world where the number of opportunities are so huge, you will never be sure of what is that one thing. Or yeah, some of us might be really sure about that one thing from very early times in our life, but it is absolutely okay if you're not clear. You have the time to explore different avenues, try out different things, and then figure it out. And it's okay if you don't figure it out eventually, in many years as well. Eventually you will, so that's fine. So take a chill pill and enjoy the 4 years is what I think. Yeah.
Thank you, Suharika. So I'll quickly switch gears, hear from the Dr. Renuka here in terms of what would that advice be to your younger self if you would have to go and do this all over again? What would be the two things that would have helped you?
Yeah, so my path to the doctorate was not that easy for me. Like, if I had known back then in college that I could like go for some internships or like meet some professors or get some information on this, I think that kind of exposure is required in your 4 years. And I would advise everyone, each one of you, that you go out there, whatever you like. Like, I liked astronomy a lot, so I went after that, and I learned it the hard way. But there are a lot of options now, because like back then resources were definitely limited. Like, we used to just text on phone, we didn't even have WhatsApp or anything. But right now there are a lot of resources available everywhere. So if you have an idea in mind, just go for it. Like, you can probably start a club based on your idea, or you can go talk to other people about it, and reach out to other professors. Like, you can always email any professors you want. Like, I didn't know that you could do that, but that's definitely an option. And that helped me switch my actually from engineering to science, where I could learn a lot of things. So that's one thing that I missed out on when I was in my first year. As Suharika said, I didn't have any clarity back then either. So I think it is still okay to not have clarity, but you still have to stay informed in certain ways. So just take the opportunity and go explore. And I also think that the extracurricular activities, whatever I did, were pretty great. But I was very interested in hiking, adventure stuff, and I didn't get to know that until I finished my engineering, actually. And yeah, if I had some kind of exposure about that, and I had known a little bit about that, I would have started my own thing, and just with friends around. There are tons of friends in colleges, so you could just find company anytime and explore those things. I guess this is what I had to say. Yeah.
Awesome. I think, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Renuka. I think that's one thing that, even I would say, if I had to go back and, give myself some advice in the beginning of my engineering, right? Friends, we kind of put this very casual word. We call them friends. We say, oh, we're going to hang out together. We're going to, probably go to college together and all of that. But I think something that is really important is the friends eventually become your network, right? When you get into the world, when you're trying to pursue a particular career, you're looking at various options, what to do in life, this group of your friends start to become your network, and that is what excites or stands you apart from the entire crowd. Like, if you know people, the right person at the right time, I think that's absolutely important. And so to all our first years who are listening in, I think some of the key takeaways, definitely focus on your work, your ECE, your curriculum, but never lose out an opportunity to expand your network. Never lose out an opportunity to make more friends, because eventually these are the people who are going to say, hey, you know what, there's an opportunity in my company, or hey, I know this person, why don't you speak to him, he might have a job for you, or you're trying to get a research paper in, you'll have somebody who can validate that. So you never know. So take all of your time, try to build those networks right from the beginning. I think this is absolutely something that I would go back and tell my younger self. And then on a very light note, the entire grind that we call engineering, right? It is a grind for a reason, because you kind of go through the same process. You learn someone would have told me that
Ratan, I think there is some network issue.
Hello. Sure.
Hello.
You got
Yeah,
cut
can you
off.
still hear me?
Now we
Yeah.
can hear you. We lost you for a bit.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying that, if someone had told me that this grind, the entire engineering, the preparation, the workload, the subjects, the exams, and then repeating it for the next 4 years or 8 semesters, if someone would have told me that it's okay and this is going to prepare you for what's in store in life in terms of your career or any other higher studies, PhDs, whatever you're aiming to pursue, if someone told me that this is going to prepare you for that, I would not have been very anxious while going through it at that moment. I'm sure a lot of you, when you start preparing for your exams or when the exams come near, you kind of get a little anxious. But believe me, this entire grind will prepare you for whatever is in store for the future. And I think I'm going back to a reference that Suresh made in his presentation where he said, it's not only certain things that like okay, 4G, then you have 5G, 6G, it'll come up, but there are certain uncertainties like COVID. Nobody ever thought of it, right? And it came up, and that created so many opportunities. So this grind kind of helps you be creative and get to the right solution at that point. So I think that would be two of my advice to my younger self if I was going to go through engineering all over again. All right then. So that's a little bit about advice for our younger self. But again, speaking of VNR itself, right? The college. I think the most important decision is when you kind of step into a college and say, okay, I'm going to give this college 4 years of my life, and how can I make the best use of it? It's not only about you having your exams and all of this, but also what the college can offer to you as well. And to Harika, do you want to take up the first? What was something that you've gained from VNR as a college?
Apart from the obvious degree, I feel like engineering prepares you to think in a certain way, not just from a engineering perspective, but any other career, even personal life. I think it prepares you to think from a first principles method of thinking. It prepares you to think logically and make sound decisions. Like currently my role at Swiggy has a lot of data analytics to it. Like anything that I have to decide, I'd want to look at the numbers before I take the final call, because a lot of money is in place. A lot of people's lives are at stake, because there are so many people who depend on us delivery boys, various things. And every damn decision has to be taken basis data. And one thing that I've observed is the way engineers look at data is like a song. It flows. It's like, it just happens that I know what relates to what and how things move together. While non-engineers, though they probably are trained to do this, it doesn't come naturally to them. I think I very strongly give this association to the 4 years of grind that you were talking about, which prepared me to do this. And that gets your mind to think a certain way. So that's really helpful. That I think is what I owe to my engineering, apart from many other things like memories, fun, and yeah, the degree itself.
Awesome. Thanks, Harika. How about you, Renuka?
So there were a lot of aspects of the college that I really liked. First of all, there was like this huge sports complex and the music band which I joined, which I had like a lot of fun being in that band. Yeah, we used to like hang out all the time. But yeah, of course, I also studied. Like I started learning coding when I actually joined the college, and I actually really liked it, and I still use those skills right now. And like, I really like that part of the college as well. Yeah, and we used to have all kinds of like fests, and we ourselves created like an event in robotics. So that's one kind of things that you can do in college, is that yeah, be creative. if you have an idea, place it, and if people like it, of course everyone will support it. And yeah, so we created like this kind of robotic event in the college, and like different people from other colleges came in and participated in it, and it was kind of successful. So which makes you feel better that you can do things that you actually never thought that you might have done. You can surprise yourself being in this college, and yeah, participating in everything. So yeah, be kind of like put your hand in everything, check it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but yeah, give yourself a chance to like do stuff, and you will be surprised how much you can do. Sometimes like you won't even know that you actually can do those.
Absolutely. I think definitely give yourself a chance to try out a lot of things, right? That is absolutely so true. And, you know, going back to something that Suharika said, you know, we have these amazing, I think both of you mentioned sports complex, we have our SAC buildings. I think personally for me, extracurricular was one thing that I was absolutely in right from the first year onwards. So being part of organizing fests in my first year, to leading some of the IEEE student chapters, IET student chapters in my fourth year, I think it was absolutely fantastic. You know, you kind of go through a pseudo organization experience, right? When you deal, or when you start getting involved in so many student chapters and extracurricular activities, because in your first year you do the base work, in your second year you kind of like become the team lead, and similarly your career works in a similar fashion, right? You join as a fresher, and then you kind of scale up and keep going forward. So I think a lot of these extracurriculars needs to be the prime focus, because this is something that happened to me during my interview, during my campus placement interviews, right? So when we go for our interview, the person who was interviewing me, he said, okay, everyone in your batch will get a degree. What have you done more than this, right? What have you done more than your degree? And these extracurriculars were becoming talking points for me, like, you know, trying to paint a unique story, which is me, right? So it definitely helps. I think you're absolutely right. And again, the college is so supportive. When we joined our first year, we did not have our SAC building, but by the end of fourth year, we've utilized the SAC, the Student Activity Center premises, for conducting so many events. So I think college, the EC department is absolutely pro students. If you have an idea, like Renuka mentioned, take it up, go and talk to the HOD, go and talk to the principal. I'm sure they're definitely going to support you in that aspect. So looking, you know, kind of switching gears a little bit here in terms of saying, I know when everyone comes into engineering, they have a certain thought process in terms of saying, okay, this is the first year, you have subjects, second year, third year, fourth year, you've got projects. But you know, tapping into a little bit of how to utilize your summers, or probably, you know, talking a little bit about the project work itself for the fourth year. I would like to share a small story about, you know, how we kind of took up an idea, made it our fourth year project. We had this idea for Vitricity. It's basically wireless transmission of electricity. And we were trying to build something that could help our mobile phones charge without your traditional cable wires, right? And if you look at, I think not less than 10 days, if you're looking at Apple, they've removed the entire chargers from their box itself, right? So we were just reminiscing back to say, okay, if we had pursued this and kind of made it a project, it would have been great. But what I'm getting at is, we kind of built that prototype. We had ample support from not only the EC department, we also had gotten one of the directors' attention from VNR, and you know, they were so I think, involved and enthusiastic about it. They wanted us to kind of build it out as a product, and they were funding, they were ready to fund it and things like that. So what we eventually did was we handed down our prototype to our juniors who could take it up, because it was not a complete product at that point in time. So we handed it down. I need to catch up on where that is right now, but I think the opportunity or the enthusiasm that the faculty, the directors, and everybody in VNR kind of puts in is amazing. Like, you have something, you can reach out. There is no fear for that at all. So I think that was a little bit of my story regarding the project work and how my experience in VNR has been. So Harika, Renuka, do you want to add anything on this particular topic?
Yeah, actually, in fact, the project work that I have taken up in the 4th year was also something that I still cherish. Maybe today it doesn't seem so big, but at that point of time, I quite enjoyed it. I worked on a home automation system, which basically uses your phone to switch on or off your fans and lights at home, which is basically, maybe you could switch on your AC and get your room cool before you come home. That was the kind of thing we worked on. And so when we started off with it, I wasn't sure personally, because I was not probably, like, when we learn the theory, we don't really think about all of this, right? So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. But when it actually worked, that moment of happiness was great. And I still remember how I felt about it. And I really think I should have done more of those. That's what I meant when I said I wish I did more projects even before 4th year. Yeah, that's a great memory of mine. Yes, you're right. Projects make a lot of difference.
I mean, yeah, I guess I worked on my 4th year project as well. I actually worked on some kind of image processing, where like there was like a robot and it detects these images which were pre-fed into the database. And so it was an image recognition project, but in my sense, it was like something new that we were doing, and that kind of like inspired me to even work on more research projects. Though later on, my interest kind of shifted from electronics to astronomy, but that zeal kind of remained, and I think that I kind of discovered when I was doing my engineering. And I really wanted to do like a PhD and like do something. It really inspired me. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a long journey for me, but for people, for you guys, it doesn't have to be. Like, if anyone is at all, like, if they want to know anything about these things, they can personally contact me as well for this. But yeah, but definitely engineering has helped me a lot in that sense, because even when I shifted my career, my background in EC definitely helped me in my this research as well, because it's all obviously it's a little bit related. So it has definitely helped me, and I think it's a really nice memory that I have of that.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Suharika and Renuka. I think we have spoken about certain serious topics. Kind of now is the time to kind of switch gears to see college is not all about projects, curriculum, exams, right? There's more to it, and I think the fun aspect, the extracurricular aspect, your friends aspect, I think all of those are equally important, which we should never ignore while we are in college. So Harika, want to share some fun memories, or something that you would like to share with the entire class of 2020?
This is a difficult question. If you ask me what is your favorite subject, that I can count on hands and probably tell. If you're talking about memories, it's just endless. But I think when you work really hard and then have fun, that is more sweeter. So the Sports Fest of VNR's last, so we were in the team that first started it. So the first last was, so when we had to work from scratch on which colleges to invite, what are the logistics, what are sports, what are the draws, what are the timings, accommodation for students, everything. And it was grueling, if not worse. But the end, when we party, when it's all over, or the nights that we spent at college figuring out logistics for it, when the transport that we spoke to failed, we went personally to the railway station to pick up the students from other colleges. All of these are really like awesome memories. And I really, like you said, SAC is one place where I think we spent a lot of time, be it Convergence, or I was a part of the dance group as club as well, Livewire. So that was fun. And then I also realized that in school, I never played basketball and all of that. But in college, I picked up a lot of new sports, which are sports that I continued playing after college as well, like basketball is one. And I played a lot of sports in college, and I'm sure the teachers and you guys know about it. I think those are really fun times. And like you said, the friends we make, yes, a great part of it from a networking perspective helps, but otherwise, from a stress busting perspective also, it's really great. So I think all of those memories are very close to my heart. Yeah.
Oh, to add on to that, yeah, I mean, I joined the music club, and the most fun memory for me was like we went and like auditioned. We created these audition videos and in the jam room, and like we like jam like after studying all day, you just go there and relax kind of and play music. And then we went to like IIT Madras to perform there. Those are kind of like the most fun memories that I had from the college, apart from all the study stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of the time spent in organizing, preparing for Convergence or the Tech Fest, the entire committee sitting together, planning for things, spending evenings, nights, putting up banners, having the entire college geared up for the fest. I think those are some of the best memories, and I think something that college definitely offers all of you. And I would absolutely encourage all of you to go participate in all of this, because it is definitely more than the curriculum. You have to go there, you've got to explore all of these options. So absolutely, I think Convergence has been the best ever memory for me, especially third year, fourth year onwards. It's been great just participating, organizing, leading teams at that point. And like I said before, right, it kind of gives you a talking point while you're going for your interviews. Once you're in your third years and fourth years, when you're like trying to get jobs and set your careers, these are some things that you will reflect back upon and say, thank God I was part of these things, because if I hadn't been, I would probably have regretted it today. But thankfully I was part, and Vienna kind of gave me all of those opportunities. So I think that's definitely been helpful. So I think with that, we are about 5 minutes away from our scheduled time. So I'm just wondering if there are any questions on our chat that we need to answer. So I'll just look up to Sahitya ma'am or...
Yes, Ratin, 1 minute. Srihari sir.
One question is from one student. That is, how did Miss Renuka shift from EC to astrophysics?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it was a long journey for me because I didn't know where to look for, but I met like a professor at Osmania University after I finished my engineering, and I worked in TCS for 1 year, but then I quit the job, and I just like went and started learning astronomy from him and started reading books. And then there was another professor in University of Mumbai with whom I worked for a while. And then after that, I just started applying to universities in the US. And one thing is that you don't need a master's to apply for a PhD in USA. You can like just go from your bachelor degree. That's one advantage, that if you get a BTech degree. Yeah, I applied for a PhD and I got in a good university, and I was really happy with my decision. And I had like a blast when I was there. Like I worked on research projects and I got to travel everywhere. It was really nice.
Okay. I think. Okay. Thank you, Renuka madam. So thank you, Renuka madam. This Saitya madam.
Hello, sir. Any question?
There is no more questions.
Okay.
There is no more questions.
Okay.
I think there's a lag in what we are speaking and what's showing on YouTube.
Yes, there is a lag.
No problem. I think we can just
See for 1 minute, sir. Because
Yeah.
if there are any questions, just please see.
Sure.
I guess people can ask questions.
Taking the 10 seconds delay.
Okay. Thank you, Ratin, Renuka, Suharika, after a long time seeing. Thank you very much. Please be in touch with the department. Please come once to the college. Ratin,
Yes,
plan
ma'am.
one day. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Okay.
Thank you. All the best, class of 2020. Cheers.
All the best, guys.
All of us, guys.
Fun and also work hard.
Thank you. The next session will be taken by the Sabrina sir about the wheat and wheel.
Srihari, sir.
Sabrina sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. He's ready. He's ready.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing my screen, sir.
Yes.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You can continue.
So I'm audible, sir.
Yeah, you're audible.
So good afternoon, everyone. Respected HOD Madam Padma Sai Garu, respected faculties, respected parents.
Interaction session లాగా YouTube కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది కదా, వాళ్ళది వీళ్ళకి ఏం తెలియట్లేదు.
My dear students, so myself Shabarinath, and along with myself, Dhanalakshmi Madam, Associate Professor of EC Department, are here to present.
350 కల్లా అయిపోవాలా?
Madam Saitya Madam, please mute yourself, Madam. So me along with Dhanalakshmi Madam are here to present about the talk on VNR VJT differentiators, Wittenville VNR lab protocol, storyboard. So this talk is purely in the context of EC department. So these are the generic differentiators followed by the entire departments of the VNR VJT. But today's talk is based on the context of EC department, how we follow. Okay. So myself, Shabrinath, I am working as assistant professor in the department of EC from 2016, from the past 4 years. Also, I'm pursuing my PhD in NIT Warangal on deep learning and designing accelerators for deep learning algorithms. So this is my research work. So this is the agenda for today's talk. So basically, we have 3 issues here. One issue is Wittenville. Another issue is storyboard, and another issue is VNR lab protocol. So basically, your academic activities, like your academic classes, will be divided into 2 things, right? One issue is theory subjects, and another issue is laboratory practical subjects. So for theory subjects, we follow certain teaching methodologies, and for laboratory, so please mute, sir. Please mute, sir. I'm getting disturbance. So please mute someone, sir. I'm getting a lot of disturbance. So, okay, okay. So today's agenda is like your academic subjects will be divided in like two issues. One is theoretical issue and another is laboratory practical issues. So for theory, we'll be following certain teaching methodologies, and for laboratory, in the context of laboratory, we'll be performing laboratory using some methodologies, teaching learning methodologies. So basically, from in our department, we follow WIT and WIL, okay, for handling theory classes, and storyboard and VNR lab protocol for handling the practical sessions, laboratory classes. So today, my agenda is to present this and what work we are doing in the Department of ECE regarding WIT and WIL and regarding the storyboard. And Professor Dhanalakshmi Garu will talk about VNR lab protocol. So this is the today's agenda for the talk. So just to recap, as you guys have come from the intermediate. So in intermediate, basically you will be learning mathematics, everyone, MPC students. So basically you will be learning linear algebra. It's a very easy subject, right? So in this subject, you will be learning eigenvalues, eigenvectors. So the most complex concept like singular value decomposition, right or not? So where you use these concepts in the real world? Do you have any idea? Like, so mostly we won't study in the intermediate level, right or not? So we study mathematics, we study physics, we study chemistry, whatever we study, we don't know where to apply, where these concepts come in the real world usage. So basically, as an engineering student, we should learn not only the concepts, we should learn how to apply this concept, where to apply these concepts in the real world. For example, the concepts which you have learned like eigenvectors, okay, eigenvalues. So this is used in face recognition, right or not? So this is used in face recognition, face recognition systems, okay? So like that, okay, that is a basic motivation behind this WIT and WIL concept, okay? So what is WIT and WIL? So WIT and WIL is a teaching learning methodology, okay, adopted in VNR VJIT from 2013. And we are following in our EC department, we are following the same thing. What is WIT and WIL? Okay, first of all, so if you observe WIT and WIL, there are two parts. One is WIT, another is WIL. What is WIT? So WIT is nothing but why am I teaching and what I am teaching. So this is purely teacher's perspective. Okay, and WIL is purely based on the student's perspective, right? What is WIL? Why am I learning and what I am learning. So this is basically this is based on the student's perspective. Okay, so there are two. This is the acronym for WIT and WIL. So why am I teaching? What I am teaching from teacher's perspective, and why am I learning and what I am learning from the student's perspective. Okay, so basically this helps to learn, interpret concepts, and apply your concepts to the real world problems, right or not? So it helps to visualize your subject in a real world scenario. So you can feel that, right, based on your subject, where you are going to apply this subject in a real world scenario. Okay, so this helps students to structure and process knowledge and make the construct. So you can able to construct. So whatever the subject to study, starting from whatever, maybe first year, second year, third year, you will be learning various subjects. Of course, second year you will be entering into your core domain. You'll be starting basic subjects like signals and systems, electronics and devices. More advanced subjects like digital signal processing, VLSI, embedded systems, whatever the subject you study in the EC department, where that subject is used in the real world, in a real world scenario. So how to visualize that? How to visualize your subject in a real world application? So that you can have a clear view on what is happening, why this structure has been created, why this subject is there for you, where you are going to apply this subject, what is the follow-up for this subject, what is the basic for this subject. So everything you can visualize in a scenario. So this is with this introduction, I'm moving forward. So this is a basic framework. So what is a basic framework is, so while teaching in every class, while handling a theory subject, your lecturer, what he will do, he will depict a scenario. So every lecturer for every subject, he will make a real world example, real world scenario, mapping all the units and mapping all the topics in all the units. So all the units will be mapped to one real world scenario. So before presenting to you in a class, what the lecturer will do, lecturer will approach an industry person. Okay, he will get endorsed by the industry. So the scenario, whatever the idea that the lecturer wants to depict to you for that subject, That idea he will prototype in the form of a picture. That prototyped picture will be taken to an industry. Okay, so they will talk to industry people. So they get one letter like, okay, this scenario is apt to teach this subject. Okay, so I will give various case studies. You will understand what is the scenario and all. So just, okay, so he will make the scenario. After making the scenario, every 5 to 10 minutes in every class, your lecturer will depict that scenario to you. He will explain this unit 1 is related to this part of the application. Unit 2 is related to this part of the application. Like that, each and every unit will be shown. And also in each and every unit, each topic is shown. So this topic is applied in this part of the scenario. So this topic is applied in this part of the scenario. So like that, all the topics, all the units, all the topics, unit level and topic level are mapped to that scenario. Okay. Suppose this scenario is not sufficient to explain all the units. So your lecturer may come up with 2-3 different scenarios where your entire syllabus can be mapped to a real world examples. So for after depicting your scenario, okay, this is for just 5 minutes. Okay, just for 5 minutes. Then the lecturer will go to the actual topic and he will explain the concepts. Okay, regarding the textbook content. Okay, textbook content he will explain. Now after the class, the lecturer will make a repository of these reports. Whatever he has explained, regarding the real world example, the real world example will be reported, will be put into a repository. So that will be given to a student. Now what student will do? So this is regarding the WIT. What is WIT? What am I teaching? Why am I teaching, and what I am teaching? Okay. Now this he will come with a WIT. This is WIT. Now this, based on this WIT report, based on the idea given by the lecturer or professor. Okay. Now the student, based on this idea, he will come up with his own scenario, with his own idea. Okay. He will come up with his own scenario and he prepares a WILD report. Okay. He prepares a WILD report. So this is the framework of this thing. So let me brief. So a faculty will make a scenario, a real world scenario, and each and every class he will depict that scenario and he will relate that concept to that scenario picture. Okay. After the class, he will make a report for that class. Okay. And he will be updating that reports day by day on the day-by-day basis. Okay. So the student can access that report. Okay. Based on his report, based on that report, the student can come up with his own, with his or her own scenario. And based on his or her own idea, he can make a WILD report. I will show what is the format for WILD report and what is a scenario, what is the format for WILD report will be shown in this talk. Okay. Now, what is a scenario? So basically a scenario is a picture, right? A picture, it was designed using some ICT tools, information and communication tools. The picture has been designed. Okay. So it will be presented to a student. Okay. Now, so how our faculty will design such an application, such a real world scenario. So our faculty will design an application such that all the units will be mapped to that scenario. So unit 1, where it is coming, unit 2, so everything will be mapped to a scenario, right? Now, based on that real world example, student will understand that and come up with his own example and come up with WILD report, so that you know what you are doing, right? Simply it's not like we just use some computation, we calculated eigenvectors. So you don't know what is that. Simply you are calculating. Simply you are getting a question and you are just. It's not like that. You know where you are applying these eigenvectors. Okay, these eigenvectors I am using in face recognition. Okay, it is one of the application, right or not? So like that you can map. You can relate your concept to the scenario. Okay. Now you see this. So this is the one of the scenario which I am using in this current semester. So the subject is sensors, transducers and actuators. So for this subject, I have chosen a scenario called predictive diagnostics and smart mechanisms in car. So this is the real-time scenario I have chosen in order to explain this subject. So this subject consists of 6 units. Okay. So as you can see, unit 1 is a primary sensing elements and transducers. Okay, first of all, what this scenario means, right or not? Okay, let me explain this scenario. So in your car, you will be deploying various sensors, actuators, right or not? So based on that sensors, information will be collected to the cloud, right or not? So you are going to predict the failures in a car, in the sense failures in the system of the car prior to your notice, right or not? So on the day by day basis, continuously the data will be collected and the analysis will be done in the cloud, and you will get, if any diagnostic thing, if any maintenance is required in a car, that information will be sent automatically to you by mail or text or remote or any SMS like that, right or not? So this is the entire system. So in this entire system, I am choosing few systems. Like in a car, I am choosing this, okay, so that unit 1 can be mapped here, right or not? So unit 2 electrical, this is based on the primary sensing element. So what are the primary sensing elements used in a car? For example, strain gauge. This is one of the sensor like that. So unit 1 can be mapped to in this part. So unit 2 electrical transducer. So what are the different electrical transducers used in a car? So based on that, I'm performing the mapping and I'm giving a suitable application, right or not? For example, unit 3, magnetic and optical transducers. So magnetic and optical transducers. So this is a parking system. You want to automatically park your car. So what sensors you are using in order to automatically detect the parking spot? So these are the more advanced systems which you are getting in a smart cities nowadays. So how you what sensors you are using like that? So this is a unit 3. Again, unit 4, smart sensor. So for example, the airbag sensor, automatically the airbag will open. So so this is one system like that. Like mechanical, so actuators. So unit 5 and 6 stands for actuators. So what are the different actuators used in a car? So based on this, I'm creating a scenario, and so this is the entire scenario. This scenario I'm naming as a predictive diagnostics and smart mechanisms in a car. So for this scenario, in each and every class, whenever I'm delivering my lecture, in the first 5 minutes of the class, I will show this scenario to the student, and I will show that today I'm teaching primary sensing elements and transducers. This is your unit. So this unit belongs to primary sensing element. Now in unit 1, what are the other topics? For example, mechanical spring is one of the topic in the unit. Okay, so this mechanical spring belongs to unit 1. So where you use this mechanical spring? So this mechanical spring is used in car suspension system. So this is the basic real world application of this mechanical spring. So I will depict the use there. Okay, for example, you take one more thing, flow rate sensing element. So where I use flow rate sensing element? So flow rate sensing element I used in a fuel tank in order to measure how much fuel it is consuming. So in the real world, I'm going to use these flow rate sensors for tracking. Okay, for tracking. For example, there are trucks. So in these trucks, I want to track how much fuel is there, right or not? So this kind of applications I can do like that. So just 5 minutes talk. Later, I go to the concept of what is flow rate sensor, what is a mathematical equation for that, what are the different plots for that, what is a mechanism, what is the principle, what's the application, everything I will cover in the next 50 minutes. The first 5 to 10 minutes, I will talk about the real world scenario. So this is the Wittenville, right or not? So Wittenville. So this is the Wittenville methodology. Okay, why am I teaching and what I am teaching? Why am I learning and what I am learning? So this is the framework. So this is the example. Now I want to depict I want to give you a feel that what are the subjects and what are the scenarios made by our department in the past. Okay, for example, analog circuits is one of the subject you are going to study. For this subject, radio broadcasting has been made as a scenario utilized by some faculties. Okay, in order to teach this subject, right? For control system, okay, in order to depict this subject, and faculty has used antenna azimuthal position control system as a scenario, right? So for electromagnetics and transmission lines, one faculty has used a communication satellite, the working principles of communication satellite in order to explain this subject. Okay, so pulse and digital circuit. So for pulse and digital circuit, one faculty has used the television system in order to depict this subject, right? For switching theory and logic design, this is another subject. For this subject, some faculties have used metro railway station. Okay, what are the different digital circuits used in this metro station? Okay, used as a scenario in order to teach the subject, right? There is one advanced subject called digital signal processing. So for the subject, some faculty have made automatic heart disorder classification, right? In order to explain this subject, they have utilized this scenario in order to visualize you the real world experience, real world application of the subject. Okay, for electronic measurements and instrumentation, they have used different body checkup instruments. Okay, this as a scenario they have made utilized to explain the subject. So for example, microprocessor and microcontroller, for the subject they have used a home automation management system in order to depict the subject. For example, microprocessors and microcontrollers, this is another actually this is an elective subject and this is the mainstream subject. For the subject, some faculties have used traffic monitoring and control system in order to explain the subject, right? So embedded real-time operating system, this is another advanced subject. So for this subject, they have used embedded control in a car. What are the different embedded systems used in a car? Based on that, they have depicted a scenario, right? This is Internet of Things. For Internet of Things, they have used a scenario called Smart Campus. So how IoT technology can be utilized in our college to make different smart transportation, student attendance, make smart student health, smart cafeteria, smart labs, smart office. So how IoT can be utilized? They have used this scenario in order to explain the subject. Okay, again, embedded systems. So this is one of the subjects. So for this, they have used precision agriculture in order to, okay, how precision agriculture, how can we make agriculture smart? How can we use different sensors, different equipment, different drones, agribots? Okay, how to effectively utilize these tools in order to effectively get the yield of your crop. So based on that, they have depicted one scenario. Okay, precision agriculture. So as I told in the initial framework, okay, after making the scenario, the faculty will be approaching to the industry in order to get it endorsed and get one letter. Okay, so this is the sample for a industrial endorsement. Some faculty have went to BSNL and they showed their scenario to that industry people, and they had some few iterations of that scenarios. They modified something based on their feedback, and they come up with the final scenario, and they got signed from that. Similarly, some Blaze automation. Okay, some faculty have went there, to talk to them. Okay, they made this format and got signed from them, right? So this is and finally, as I told, after delivering everything, the faculty will make a WIT report. Okay, so faculty, I'll show the example of the WIT reports. Okay, so this is the you can see in my screen, this is the basic format of the report. So I'll be having syllabus. Okay, this is the industrial scenario which I put here. Okay, so this is my endorsement letter. I got it from Red Pine Signals. This is one of the company in Hyderabad. Now, so I have explained the scenario. Whatever the ideas I have, I put it. I have explained you in order for the student to understand why. Why means so again he ought to come up with will, right or not? Whatever I explain, I put it here, right? Now this is the thing. So this is the format. So for the content, okay, this is the content of the syllabus. Okay, this is the scenario. This is the lecture date. Okay. Now I'm putting the syllabus here. Now see here. So this is the first topic: mechanical devices as primary detectors. For that, I am using this picture in the scenario. Okay. Now, so this topic I'm using different thing. Okay, different pictures, and I'm giving the different real world examples, and for each example I'm giving the description. Okay, I'm giving the pictures here for each and every part of the unit 1. So for that subtopic, again I'm giving the brief description of it. Okay. Similarly, I'm giving different topics, and for these topics, I'm giving the picture where I'm utilizing. Okay, if suppose I want to give some other different example which is not related to scenario, also I'm giving extra examples, and I'm giving the description for that. This is the WIT report. So this report I will be giving to a student. Now, finally, based on this, see, this is the WIL report. Okay, Now, based on that report, after the completion of every unit, so with report I make, I will, as a faculty, I will make after completion of each and every class. But the will report, what will report is, so in a will report, students will be divided into batches. The entire class will be divided into batches. So each batch will be 4 or 5 based on your faculty. So each batch, for example, 2 students, I made 1 batch. Since my students are less in this subject, as this is an elective subject, so 2 students I made as 1 batch. So these 2 students come up with 1 will report. Okay, 1 will report. For example, for the unit 1, they have come up with, I told about the predictive diagnostics. These students have come up with an example of a temperature transducer, right? So they have come up with some new idea of where that first unit can be applied in a real world. So these 2 students have come up with a temperature transducer. And again, these 2 students have come up with another example like structural health monitoring. Maybe these are the civil engineering, as this is the open elective, this can be offered to different branch students. They have come up with an example of smart monitoring, structural health monitoring using strain gauge. This is the system. So for example, these students have come up with different thermocouple, like so different systems they have come up with. So basically, what is this will report? What you need to make is, you need to, what did you learn from this unit? This is the first question you need to answer in your own way. The second question is, was the application illustrated clear for you in understanding the topics covered in the unit? Okay, for entire unit, okay, you need to explain that. Okay, in your own words, you need to explain. Okay, what are the facts? What are the theories you understand? Okay, based on your understanding. Now, what you need to do? The question 3 is your novelty. Novelty in the sense you need to think. Identify and explain an additional or new application to illustrate your understanding of the topics covered in this unit. So you need to identify, okay, new application, and you need to illustrate that new application, right? So this is the novelty of the student. You need to go to internet, search, okay, come up with your own scenario, diagrams like this, and you need to explain about it, right? So for example, this students has come up with a different example. Okay, these students have come up with different like that. Okay, again, different examples like each and every students. This is some gyroscope, accelerometer examples like that. So for the each unit, different examples the student has made. So this is about the reports. Okay, this is about the will reports. Okay, so this is one topic in the today's talk. Okay. It's a wit and will. So wit and will, what? Just let me think this thing. Wit and will. What is wit and will? Wit and will is nothing but, okay, it is one of the teaching methodology adopted in VNR VJIT. Of course, adopted in EC department. In the context of EC department, I have presented few scenarios which we have made in the past, right? So what we do? What is a framework for wit and will? So basically, in each and every class, the lecturer will depict a real-world scenario. Okay, before even classes, lecturer will make a real-world scenario and got approved by some industry people. He'll get some industrial endorsement for that. Then, in each and every class, that picture is depicted in the first 5 minutes of the class. Okay, and the faculty will map that topic and the unit and topic to that scenario. He will explain that. Okay, then he will move to the actual class. Don't worry, guys. This is just for 5 minutes. The next 50 minutes will be the actual class, actual derivation, actual talks, whatever it may be. So that textbook content. So after that, faculty will make a wit report. It will be put into a repository, which will be accessed by you. You can see that repository, study that example given by your lecturer. Then after the end of each unit, based on your team, you do some teamwork. Okay. Search in the internet, search in the books, search in the library, search in the journal papers, whatever it may be. Get some idea about that, come up with your own scenario, own example, and make a will report. Okay. For each unit, each team of the students will be submitting the will reports. So this is the thing about wit and will. Okay. So this is regarding the theoretical subjects. Okay. Now regarding the practical, in the sense, you will be having at least 2-3 labs in every semester. You need to tackle 2-3 laboratories, right or not? So laboratories. So this is storyboard is one of the important tool, important teaching methodology which we adopt in our college, of course, in the EC department. in order to convey the laboratory experiments, rather than just doing the experiments, just keeping transistors, just keeping microprocessor, just keeping CRO. Instead of that, whatever the work you do, relate to a real world example. So that is again the thing storyboard will tell. Okay, storyboard will convey the real world, okay, real time application, whatever the laboratory you are doing, simply you are doing. So, okay, why you do simply? Better you design your own experiment, design your own parameter, design your own, okay. So for that, in order to get that ideas, in order to get the own ideas for the student, rather than following, okay, so the faculty, what he will do, he will put a storyboard. So he will put a storyboard, he'll make a storyboard. In the storyboard, he will map all the experiments to the storyboard. Okay, so this experiment in real time can be done here. So this experiment can be done here. Like that, he will convey the storyboard. Okay. Now, okay, this is okay. Just I will. This is the thing. Just okay. You see this. So this is the storyboard of a microprocessor and microcontroller laboratory. Okay. So you can see in the right, these are the list of the experiments. There are 14 experiments you need to perform. So what is given here? For example, you take example 6. Okay. Interfacing ADC or DAC to 8086 8051 8086 microprocessor or 8051 microcontroller. So this is just a generic heading given in your syllabus. Now what the faculty will do, he will take this ADC, he will take the real world example. Okay, for example, this faculty have taken a car and the system used in a car, real world example. And in this example, where you use, for example, he has put airbag control unit. In airbag control unit, you will be using the airbag some sensor, crash sensor he has put. So based on the crash sensor detects the analog value. You need to convert into digital value. Then only your processor will process this digital value and control the airbag. Okay. So this experiment has been mapped to the system, real world example. Like that, for each and every experiment, the faculty will convey a storyboard, so that this experiment can be performed in real time in the here. Okay, so all the 14 experiments have been mapped. For example, anti-lock braking system, the experiment 6 has been mapped to anti-lock braking system as well as airbag control unit. For example, 5 and 9 have been mapped to electronic instrument cluster, and experiments 11, 13, 14 have been mapped to automotive audio system. Like that, okay, you will get a storyboard of the experiments what you are doing, so that this knowledge will help you to do your projects, to do your internships, right or not, to have some consultancy projects from industries, whatnot, right? So this is one of the approach. Now, so this is my talk regarding this Wittenville and storyboard. Okay. Now our Dhanalakshmi madam will continue with the lab protocol. Okay. So madam, I'm stopping my sharing. Please, you can share your screen and you can present, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, Shabari.
Madam. Madam.
We can start now.
Okay, madam.
Srihari is there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Chepandi.
Okay, I request all the students, please join for closing ceremony. Okay, you are having classes from Monday onwards. All of you should attend all the classes as per the timetable. Timetable is provided through your class coordinator. Okay, please go through your timetable as well as Microsoft Teams ID. So already your class is created through Microsoft Teams. All of you should join through Microsoft Teams. From Monday onwards, you are having classes. Okay, your attendance will be taken seriously. Okay, today actually we have observed only 80 students have attended this program. Okay, please inform to all your friends. They should attend all the classes without bunking, not even single class. Okay, thank you, Srihari, Shabari, Dana. for sparing your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, students. Please join for the session. Thank you.